Okay, round 2 against Juliamon. We've lost the die roll and waiting for our opponent to decide things. So this will be exciting. Tense at the edge of your seat, wait for your opponent to decide whether they're going to go first, which they are. Okay, so this hand has removal, our creature, all of our colours, and some late game stuff. So I think it's okay. It's not the best hand, but it's serviceable. Alright. Swamp. More creatures is a good draw. I'm always happy to draw more creatures. Blue deck makes me a little bit upset about this guy because they probably have a coral barrier in their deck somewhere. That's not the worst. Green again. Foil Frostlinks. That's pretty nice. Unfortunately, Frostlinks with no target versus which is familiar. But still. Second Frostlinks, on the other hand, is definitely much more relevant than the first. Yep. Take 2. This Pill for Reality is getting steadily worse. I really don't want to block either, bounce either of these. So I think we play the Crow over the Assistant. Yeah, once this untaps, it'll be able to hold these guys off, so we don't really need something that can trade with them. I think we just play out the Crow. Unfortunately, we can't play either of them and hold up Ulcerate, so that's not really a consideration. So we only have the one swamp. What was I saying about one swamp, 4 other things, and this being sad? Yeah. Could still happen. Or I could draw a swamp on the very next turn and suddenly everything is feeling much better. Sure. Take my 4 damage. Okay, so I am going to hold this back. Like, I have an opportunity to get in for 2, but I'd much rather hold off his Linkson. Because we're sort of on the back foot at the moment. Jest isn't really going to do a great deal for us at the moment, so I'm just going to play out the Assistant and say go. We would have another one of those, but unfortunately we don't. Path Mage on the battlefield, slightly more relevant than a Path Mage in the graveyard. That's what I've found anyway. Okay, so my own Frostlinks, which I can actually play and hold up Ulcerate now. Not too worried about playing the Jest at this point still. So I think we can just get in with the Crow. Frostlinks down the Path Mage. He can still make like both of the links is unblockable and hit us for 4, but if he does, then we're not taking anything. Quickly. Well, that's a shame. Gonna get to bounce a Frostlinks. I can't take out like both Frostlinkses right now, so I can't stop them from being able to bounce a Frostlinks. And it's not targeted, so I can't just kill the Frostlinks that he's chosen. He's going to get a Frostlinks back in his hand. And then he's going to block the Carrion Crow, unless I kill it immediately. Which I think I'm going to do. Peeling the Quickling doesn't seem like a good plan. Like, the fact that he would have, it would put him back on tempo a bit, but the fact that he would get to keep on replaying Frostlinks is more than makes up for that. Come on. Yep. So I think we let this trade happen because there are much better things for me to cast Ulcerate on. Losing our flyer is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. Tap down the Path Mage. He can still get in with the Frostlinks if he wants to, but that's going to cost him a fair bit of mana. And it's only going to hit us for 2 rather than the 3 he'd be getting if he attacked with the Path Mage. So, and if all else fails, we can wait for him to spend the mana on Frostlinks and then Ulcerate it. Which hits us for 3, but it means that his creature's dead. I'd much rather Ulcerate this, to be quite honest. If I'm going to be casting it this turn, I'd much rather put it on that. Or I'd even more rather put it on whatever he actually casts this turn. Which is probably going to be the Frostlinks. He's probably going to play Frostlinks, unblockable this, and get in. Unless he has something better to do. But that wouldn't be a terrible turn by any stretch. Or we could play a wall. Huh. So we can give other green creatures trample, which doesn't seem too relevant right at the moment, but maybe it will later. Okay, so we've drawn our swamp. What did I say? What did I say? It was going to be fine. It was going to be fine. No problems whatsoever. I have my second swamp. So I can go on the attack, try to play the Jest. Because if I go on the attack, he probably blocks something with the wall. Probably the assistant. Jest awkwardly increases this guy's power. Oh no, it doesn't, because this guy loses his pump ability. So this little guy will just become a 1/1, not a 2/2. Still would trade for the assistant though. And he probably doesn't block with either of these. So yeah, trying to go for the Jest plan probably isn't the greatest. I could attack with just Frostlinks. He probably blocks with the... well, like as a it looks like a chump check, he'd probably block with the wall. Then I probably wouldn't use the jest in that point, because trading jest for wall of mulch doesn't seem like the way that we're actually winning this game. So instead, I think no attacks, kill this right now, hold up Polymorphous Jest in case something amazing happens on his attack step. If hopefully we draw another land, we can drop Caustic Tar and start tearing him apart. Because the board is pretty stalled at this point, and that is not helping. Yeah, this isn't doing a great deal at this point, because they're basically all small creatures as it is. It's going to be hard to get a blowout with that against what he's doing. But he is in green, so he's probably got some big green creatures in there somewhere. Alright, I'll put this on the mountain. Because that's the land that I'm least scared about. Well, it's the one I'll be least sad about to not have available for mana. Can't block the Island Walk guy, but then he can't block Caustic Tar, and that's going to kill him before that kills us. More lands? Sure. Yep, your turn. This isn't like sorcery or anything, no. Just have to remember to do that every turn. Oh, I'm not using my mana for anything else this turn, so I think I'm just going to do this. I mean, we're getting a bit beyond the point where doing that, using Peel from Reality for some sort of tempo blowout is actually going to be relevant, so... replaying this will sort of enforce the board stall a bit. Tap down one of his semi-relevant creatures. Or whatever it is he's playing now. Siege Worm. Okay, yeah, that's getting tapped down. See, I'll tap it down to hold it back for a little bit. And then eventually Flesh to Dust it. And this is the other reason why I always end up down on the clock, is that Midgo just runs really slowly. Okay. Replay the Frost Links. Tap down Siege Worm. And then next turn we'll hold up Flesh to Dust, so that when it untaps and he tries to attack with it, we can just blow it up. Or potentially Polymorphous Jest and block it, or... depends on... if it's the only thing he attacks with, I'll probably just blow it up with Flesh to Dust. If he attacks with that and some other things to try to get through, then I'll pull him off his chest and see if I can blow him out. I keep on saying him. His name is Julia. His name is... My opponent's name is Julia. I should probably be using she. But honestly, I don't know for sure. It's kind of a habit I need to get out of because it is not very nice. Three more damage. Lightning strike could be relevant. Everything in our hand is instant and we're not attacking, so your turn. We'll be taking one life off Shivan Reef if we actually cast Lightning Strike. Okay, that's nice. Oh, that's going to be unfortunate for you. Bye-bye. Okay. Three more damage. Sure, I'll play that out. We could actually start attacking with that probably. Our opponent doesn't have anything, flyers or reaches or anything, so shortens the game by a turn, because next turn I'd hit them down to 6, and then on our turn we can attack with this and hit them again. So this is their last turn unless they have something. Which they don't appear to just yet. They could easily have some way to disrupt the Sentinel though, in blue. Appears that they do not. All right. So we didn't see a lot of things that Polymorphous Jest is good against. There was Siege Worm, and that was basically it. Everything else is like 2/2s and 2/3s and 1/3s and other stuff that this isn't actually that amazing against. So that is a potential cut. Stormtide Leviathan is a potential include. I mean, we did get up to 8 lands in that game. So that could definitely close the game out. I'm just not 100% sure whether the future games are going to be stalled out quite as badly as that, or whether that was just a result of the draws. There's still not a lot of other things in here that I'd consider bringing in. This is not a terrible sort of grindy card. But not a lot of our creatures actually went to the graveyard. They mostly just sat around on the board all day. Maybe it's too greedy to bring this in. I mean, we don't really have a good way to sort of ramp into it. But if the game is going to be as grindy as that first one, then we could actually get to 8 mana and cast the thing. Like, we got to 8 mana in that game, and that was with less mana than I would normally have. Like, because we were crimped on mana for quite a while, and we still made it to 8. So I think this is actually not terrible. And I do think the Jest is what I'm cutting for it, because it just doesn't seem like it's going to hit many things. Maybe I'll be upset about that. We'll see. Alright, this is a very good hand. Hopefully we draw the second island for the Wall of Frost. But even if we don't, this hand is just all gas all the time. Turn 2 Welcome Turn, turn 3 Familiar, turn 4 Path Mage. With both a flying creature and this unblockable thing, we can probably start to get some beats going. And Witch's Familiar will hold off. Witch's Familiar and potentially Wall of Frost will hold off a fair amount of his early game. I mean, the Frost Lynxes are annoying, because we really do want to try to get the damage on quickly. And they're going to make it very hard to do that. Hopefully he just doesn't have quite as many of them this time around. Sure. That I'm much less concerned about. Like, it's not a terrible card by any stretch. It's just that with so many 2/3s in my deck, it's basically just cycling. Like, it's not actually doing a great deal on the battlefield. I think I still play Path Mage this turn, just to use up all of our mana. But Sentinel is definitely something that I want to get on the board. Help clog things up, and then eventually play a land first, then I can actually cast the thing. There we go. I swear I know how to play this game. Probably won't be activating Path Mage for a little while, because I'll be trying to cast things instead. But it will certainly scare our opponent a little. At least that's the hope. Because next turn Sentinel, and then the turn after that, I can like activate this, activate Sentinel, get in for 8. If he taps down Path Mage, I'm not at all worried, because I wasn't planning on attacking with the next turn anyway. If he holds down Welcome Turn, then that'll actually hold us back, or he actually wants to get in. Okay. Alright. That's twice I've badmouthed Shaman of Spring for not being able to do anything, and that's twice that it's actually been able to get in for 2 damage. Or don't attack with it. Okay. I don't know, maybe she has a plan for it. Okay, that lets us use up all of our mana this turn, which is nice. It's probably not going to do a great deal, but it might dissuade a bit more of the attacks from our opponent. Should contribute at least a little bit to clogging up the board. Which is definitely what we want in this situation. Yeah, if we draw an island, then the next turn's going to be Wall of Frost and crash with Path Mage. If we don't draw something relevant, then it's going to be crash with Path Mage and Sentinel. And Welcome Turn, obviously. If we draw a spell, then we might be casting a spell instead. I'm entirely happy for you to use Encrust in that manner. If it was going to hit something, it may as well be that. Alright. Okay. No. Interesting. So, do I just do that? It's more reliable damage in the long run than anything than like... Because I could spend all my mana to basically get in for 6 now. Or I could spend all my mana on this and it will probably do more consistent damage over the long term. I think I definitely want to do it this way. I do have to say Stormtide Leviathan is going to be a pretty upsetting draw at this point with only one island. Maybe I should have changed my land balance when I put the Leviathan in. And an extra island. Okay, so Shaman's a 3/3 now. It's potentially attacking. Okay. Make you a 4/4. Question is, does it attack? It doesn't. It's just trying to make a bigger blocker. That I'm okay with. Still not drawing any islands I'm less okay with, but you'd have to do what you have to do. Okay, so I think Path Mage comes in, Sentinel comes in, or do I need to hold some of them back as blockers? I think Path Mage definitely comes in because I don't want to block with him. But I might hold Sentinel back so that I can like block this with Familiar Sentinel and have it trade for Sentinel. This is still 6 damage a turn between Path Mage and Caustic Tar, so it's still a quick clock. Crashing with Sentinel as well would shorten the clock, but he just needs to keep some mana back so he can block with his own Sentinel to stop that from being a clock. So it's still 3 turns if he wants it to be. Sure, Coral Barrier can happen. I'm not too scared of the 1/1 Island Walker. Yep. I could block that with my own Sentinel, but I think I'm going to use the Sentinel to block the Shaman and not worry about the 3 from that. I'm way ahead of my opponent and my damage, my clock is a lot faster, so I think I'm going to block over here instead. He almost certainly takes out my Sentinel so that I don't have any flying blockers anymore, but that's okay. There we go. More swamps. Oh, same again. Alright, once again, if you have nothing, this is your last turn. If you're able to deal with Path Mage, then you'll have an extra turn. If you're able to deal with Caustic Tar as well, then I am out of action. And it's not entirely infeasible that they might have brought in Naturalize, given that I have Caustic Tar in here. I will throw the kitty away at this point. Even though we can give it Trample, it'll get rid of the 1 card that he has in hand. The counterspell, okay. That really wasn't hitting anything of value at this point. Hey, another island. Oh, I forgot to do the Caustic Tar at the end of last turn. Doesn't actually matter, because we win right here. But that is just sloppy. Neither of those can be blocked, and then this hits you for another 3. There we have it. Alright, so we've lost a round, we won a round. And hopefully we can pull this out. And I'll see you guys in round 3.